Soul posted this tweet. Now, it will not make any sense without me actually playing it. And you know what, Matt? We're just going to do this the old-fashioned way.
Oh, why are you like this?
Because I am a brutal pragmatist, Matt. And here it is.
They're just talents. They're just talents. They're just talents.
They're just talents.
So, they announced hero talents. Ian very bloody clearly, like, knowing, I think he saw the impending storm. So he was like, I'm releasing a big new feature. And he's like, they're just talents, guys. They're just talents. Now, Taliesin does then point out the letters that are behind Ian Azakostas as he said those very words, which are explore deeper class fantasy, complete flexibility to suit your play. Now, shall we, before we get into the, I hate to use your favorite word again, Matt, but the discourse, shall we maybe think about hero talents through these 2 bullet points on the slide? We can maybe call these design pillars of the system, and we can sort of think about how what we've seen so far, does it meet these design pillars or not? So, explore a deeper class fantasy.
Yes. Yes, asterisk for some of them.
I think that's fair. I think a lot of the sub parts, the sub talents, like the class fantasy is more expressed by the name of the talent than its functionality. And I think there's a little bit of a problem with that. But again, it's quite hard to express literally everything via gameplay. So yeah, I think I'm going to give him like a 60% on that. The next one though, Matt, is complete flexibility to suit your play.
That's 0%. Because no, I'm going to give it 30. I'm going to give it a 40% true, because that's an arbitrary number where 60% of the player base don't have any opportunity to be flexible because they have to meta pick.
I'm just thinking like, hey guys, see when you're writing that slide, if you just remove the word complete, you'd have a lot more wiggle room in this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Complete was not the pick, my dudes.
A bit of flexibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway.
All right, he's saying flexibility is in how you can change them anywhere, anytime. Then that's true.
Then that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like existing talents. So yeah. Okay.
So with that said, let's get into the meat. See how it tastes. Taliesin replies, dude, I don't want to be that guy, but it literally says explore deeper class fantasy in huge letters. And you know, the boys then go for a talk. So the broad thing here, I believe is I think Tally is far more on, I don't want to say the side, because that almost, to say the side, that then creates a binary division.
All things are a dichotomy. All online arguments are a dichotomy. It
including
is A versus B.
Dichotomy.
Yes. Everything is on a binary line. It is A, B, it is 1 or 2. I should have said 0 or 1, but it's A or B, it's 1 or 2, it's right or wrong, it's
That's it.
up or down.
There are 2 opinions, right and wrong.
Yeah, there are 2 opinions, black and white, absolutely, 100%.
That's why old movies were better.
Yeah, so the way this works is
Taliesin
just goes, listen, it kind of says class fantasy, people hear hero talents, and class fantasy and want to be kind of more fantasy-wise. And then Soul is like, no, but the specifics of what has been said.
Now, unfortunately, one of the repliers, Griswold Wannabe, has said, I can't have you two disagreeing. You represent 2 islands of common sense in the cesspool that is WoW Twitter. Oh, Griswold Wannabe.
Someone say this here, or?
No. I just clicked in the actual tweet. Okay, because to which I want to say...
no comment,
my dude, yep. Actually, WoW Twitter has had... no comments. I think WoW Twitter's been a bit more schizo than normal lately.
Oh, not having anything to do in the game has driven them all mad.
Yeah, they went fucking mental.
It's the same thing that happened in FF14, decent bit in Endwalker. Everyone just started going fucking mental. Even recently, there was some, I can't remember who it was. There was some YouTube just had multiple videos of back and forth drama between 2 people that amounted to nothing. I'm just fucking just log out, just go Don't do anything else. Like, Jesus Christ. Fucking streamers, man. God damn. I don't get it. Fuck. Like, just play something else. Like,
So
just be a variety streamer, be happy.
Yeah. You can't, yeah, so, I mean, overall where I am on that, I think it's that thing. There's, like, perceptions, reality, you know, it's almost like that thing of, you know, what did the writer intend by, you know, these words that they wrote? You know the way it's like some aspects of, like, you know, English literature.
No, don't talk about
like,
the curtains being blue. No fucking curtains.
There we go. Okay. Imagine a whole 15-minute discussion about the curtains being blue just happened, but you're in the lucky timeline where you don't need to hear it.
I'm tired. The curtains might have just have been blue, or maybe they were about setting the scene that was depressing. Who knows? Who knows?
The SD card is blue.
The SD card is blue. That's because all the videos you record are depressing.
And then whenever it's time for a happy video, I record it in the golden SD card.
Fantastic.
There you go. My amazing authorial intent. So, look, honestly, with this one, I mean, I get the point to a degree. It's easier to just have these discussions like IRL because you're not limited to the format of tweet, response. But, yes, Ian did say they're just talents. And basically, I think what we have came to is entirely devoid from production reality. Talents is perhaps less exciting than the fantasy, because I don't think that these talents, like, some of them are fantasy forward, but they don't feel like they have sort of compelling enough. I want to say we haven't seen the visuals yet, but I mean, when I say compelling visuals, I mean like through the whole process of gameplay.
Yeah, so
like green fire, it's like, well, your fire is green.
Nothing is even remotely that big.
Yes.
Like, all we've seen is
5% bigger.
Yeah, it's like some boys have new abilities, right? There you go. Some boys with new abilities will have visual effects. This isn't going to be anything close to green fire. You've got like lightning effects on your other stuff as the Avatar one. What's the mountain thing? That one has some stuff, and then like obviously Lightsmith. If you're playing with a Lightsmith in your group, which is with the Holy and Pala, you're going to see shields and hammers around to pick up. That's cool. But it's not going to be anything like Green Fire. And it was never supposed to be Green Fire, because this isn't even, like him saying they're just talents, this is the class design people making new gameplay. It was never in any universe going to be class gains, because that would be a different set of teams' responsibilities. That would have nothing to do with design. That would have something to do with design, but that would be more cosmetic. That'd be more like on that like side of the what's being made, and then the designers would have to go and make other things that like are gameplay affecting. It is literally like that, right? That's the difference. That's kind of the major difference. In obviously this wasn't going to be that, but and this is where I hate to be correct. I hate to be this person.
Dude, were you about to say I hate to be correct?
Yes.
No, you fucking
no,
love
no,
it.
no, 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 because I fast forwarded my sentence in my head. I go say I hate to be the person to say this, but Soul and Talia are both correct here.
And that means they can fight forever for our amusement, and they can join Jack Avium in the Everwar.
Exactly. So
I really need to play Jack Avium.
No,
sometime.
you don't. It's fucking terrible.
Did you play Jack
No,
Avium?
I didn't. I just
Okay.
I watched the playthrough and it was so boring. So yeah, like it says explore deeper class fantasy. Do the hero talents do that? Some of them do. We've discussed that. Soul's like
brackets.
Yeah.
Like
a little
Walmart own brand class fantasy.
Yeah, nowhere near compared to
Sunwalker.
Not compared to Legion Artifacts or Green Fire. Yes. Not even anywhere close. And they never were going to be, because it's not even in the same ballpark as a feature. So things like people talk about like how they approach it, and people tuning out. Yeah, people are tuning out because the player base want to talk about how class fantasy is. Because this is the thing, right? Someone evokes the dreaded phrase class fantasy. And then someone else goes, well, we would sure love to have class fantasy in our video game. We don't have that currently. And then someone says, but the hero talents aren't supposed to be. Okay, I'll try to roleplay this as A and B. A comes out and goes, class fantasy. I would love that in my video game. Person B says, but the hero talents aren't going to be class fantasy. And person A says, what the fuck are hero talents? I'm just talking about class fantasy. And then person B goes, "You're never going to get class fantasy. It's the hero talents." And both people are looking at each other confused, like, I just want to talk about class fantasy. But they're operating in different like existences and different levels of what they're talking about.
You know, whenever people talk about the simulation,
Yeah.
I like to imagine maybe I'm person A and somebody else's anecdote, or person B, or
Yeah. So like people are having different conversations
yeah.
in the general vicinity of hero talents. And obviously that's the case where like we're talking about like, well, the hero talents don't really seem to have much class fantasy through gameplay. Yeah. And then someone else turns around and goes, well, they're not class skins. And then someone else goes, did you say something about class skins? And then someone else goes, but the talents are too complicated. And that's 4 conversations around hero talents that everyone sees as one conversation about hero talents. And everyone gets really confused. And it's like, they were never going to be class skins. So maybe we should branch this off and go, should Blizzard do class skins maybe soon?
Yes.
Everyone goes, yes, great.
But the problem is the name of what if the name of the class skin overlaps with the name of the hero talent, and that's where Blizzard have got into a tricky situation.
Yeah, because the hero talent evokes images of class skins, even though they've never said class skins. Mm-hmm. You're like, shit.
Yeah, so basically that happened, and that's messy. I actually think, okay.
Yeah,
this is fairly interesting then. Mm-hmm. Flex, who, oh my God, I've forgotten what guild Flex is. Echo.
Isn't Flex just
method?
a World of Warcraft?
No, not method. Echo. Yes, Echo.
Isn't Flex just a professional World of Warcraft tweeter? I've gone to the checkmark.
There you go. So,
Impressions.
power gameplay, visual flavor. Most people say visual flavor, and it's probably worth saying, like, I think Flex's audience will lean more toward like, you know, gotta go fast, big gamer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that audience says that. And I guess that's the bit that's interesting, because if this was for anyone, it would be for them. And I don't like saying them, to be very clear,
yes,
because they are just another subset of we. But
deep, man.
Oh my God, that's like something Adam Newman would say. Where is my 300 billion? I need to get SoftBank on the phone immediately.
Oh, yes.
So you would maybe assume, right, that the people who are interested in the MDI and, you know, guilds like Echo, that they would be the people like, oh, gameplay, ooh, oh, more power, blah, 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 blah. But no. I mean, this is 2,000 people voting on Twitter, so it doesn't mean anything. Probably a little bit. So yeah, you would imagine like all that stuff that we just kind of talked about. If you take someone who's just like, I like Dragonflight because it had big dragons and they were fun and I like the world and blah, 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 right? They're probably going to look at all that shit and just completely gloss over because it just looks like incomprehensible, you know, mush. So even for the people for whom parsing that information and being able to understand how it applies to their gameplay, they don't like it. And you know what? Maybe they don't like it because they have read it, they have understood it, and they think about how it applies to their gameplay and they don't want it. So anyway, I think that this is like a big signal of this is not landing with its target audience, because the people who should like this the most do seem to be skewing towards looking at it and understanding that it's not particularly welcome. Now let's go on to some other people's sort of tweets and chats. It's worth saying Flex posted that after watching Jack's video. We talked about that last week. Essentially, they're like, just Jack was talking about a lot of the things that we've sort of all been saying about the cognitive load. Of course, for him being a healer, and this is certainly like healers will quite profoundly feel this with how healing has changed over time, where Blizzard really struggles to get healing right. Because it's that, you could say, almost paradoxical, not paradoxical, that's the wrong word, but when healing is too strong, healing's less fun. Because in order to make challenge, Blizzard just turns into health bar whack-a-mole. And then that means as a player, you will very quickly feel behind, rather than, you know, if you are not so strong, but the damage profile is sort of commensurate to that. So then you feel like you are, you know, dealing with your resources to solve a problem instead of, I have fallen 0.4 of a second behind the curve and it's all over. And one of the first touch point for me, and I actually think it's a really, really good example because it resulted in an amazing world first. It was back in Mists of Pandaria where discipline priests, they were bubbly boys. Very, very strong, right? So Disc Priest was like pretty OP, could do pretty amazing things. And that led to a solo heal world first Garrosh 10.
Damn.
Heroic, which is, that famous video with the amazing My Little Pony weak aura. Used by the Disc Priest.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking one of of course, Paragon. One of the big names in raiding back in the day. So that was just like one example there where for a lot of people, like healing just turned into stressful hell because in a world where Disc Priest could just bubble the hell out of everybody all the time and were like too strong, well, Blizzard's damage profiles just got really spiky.
Literally yes. In a game where you heal, what if you have absorbs? Oh shit, we didn't think about that. Game's over.
Little bit of that. But yeah, so that just sort of happened as an issue. So, Jack was talking about the power creep sort of issues that could be coming from some of these talents. It was a really good discussion, and I would recommend the video, absolutely. To go into some other people's sort of opinions, Public, after seeing more of the hero talents, I can't really express my disappointment enough. I would much rather have these be purely cosmetic/utility choices that lean heavily into a theme than what we have today. I feel like if these were class skins, people would love the system. But if they were class skins, it wouldn't be a system. It would be an unlockable. That's kind of an interesting part of it. I mean, like, to me, the idea of class skins is basically imagine class heritage armor quests, but they're hard as or maybe they actually have difficulty levels.
Difficulty levels is the way there.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Just do that with like normal heroic mythic, like a mage tower, but for a class, and maybe treat it like heritage armor where, yes, they just kind of, they're added to the game in patches in an evergreen fashion. Like now, maybe you tie them into the class order halls or something, but you can see how that would actually be a gameplay system with a really clear, cool reward.
Yeah, I think that
would drive gameplay far more than just clicking one of these talents every time you level. By the way, there's only a few choice nodes. Everything else you'll get because you're not going to be starved.
Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of the problem comes down to. If you offered people a choice, would you rather have the developers work on all of this, or would you rather have them work on literally anything else?
Content?
Yeah, I know.
Content?
Now obviously you can't just say, well, a developer is a developer. They can just do whatever. Because obviously you have specialities. You've got things you're trained in, things you aren't. You've got your responsibilities and your job titles, stuff like that. So I don't know. I literally don't know if you could go, hey, person who's working on these hero talent trees, could you go and help balance a bit of content where we're fighting? Mm-hmm. Like where we're doing kind of like a mage Tari kind of thing, but for class skins. Could you literally do that without having to go, well, we need to train you in all of these, like on the ways we script fights and script stuff like this? Because it feels like that would be like an encounter designer's job as opposed to like a class designer's job. You'd assume that those are different like disciplines, right? So it does leave you wondering, like, well, shit. Blizzard decided to make, one thing, and everyone's going, man, could you have spent all that time and effort working on another thing instead, please? Which is like ultimately the crux of this, I think. Where everyone's like, well, we don't really care about these that much. Would rather, if we think about anything else, would have preferred something different. We would have gotten plus 10 talents anyways. No, you're thinking inside the box. What if we just didn't? Literally, what if we just didn't?
Whoa.
Blizzard can do whatever they want. What if they want, nah, you don't get any more talents? Why not? Because we give you something else instead that is there. Every 5 levels you get an extra ability at level 75 and then another one, and then it gets upgraded at 80. There you go, happy enough. That's all you need to feel like vaguely reasonable. And then you go, okay, well, all of that effort has gone into something else. The only problem is the effort being from the resources available. It's like, well, like I said, not every developer is the same kind of developer, which is the problem. But again, I think that's where I come back to saying about it being like iteration instead. Because everyone who's played World of Warcraft for long enough looks at these trees and goes, I know what this is going to do to balance. And I don't fucking like it. And they can't really say that out loud because everyone goes, but they'll balance it right this time. The game can be balanced. We swear. Honest. And everyone goes, no, it fucking can't. Not when you make it so much more complicated. Consistently. Just, instead of doing any of this, just balance the game better. It's not sexy, but it makes the game work. So you can't be doing something sexy all the time. Sometimes you have to actually just fucking weed the garden. Like,
Guess sometimes you got to do the dishes.
yeah, that's it. It's like, could you weed the garden instead of planting a new one, please? Thank you. Because the old one's a wee bit neglected looking. It's like, do that. So that's kind of the, I think that's where I think it comes down to for like the, flexing here as representative of the elitist 0.1% community. So yeah, of course, people don't want more things that'll make the game. There'll probably be a net negative on the game. It's probably the best way to put it. It's like, why'd you put a load of effort into something that's like net negative, net neutral, or very slightly net positive, when you could put a load of effort into something that's substantially more positive instead? Which is interesting because, well, yeah, I mean, Jack says like hefty power creep led to healing's current state. More power creep can make things worse. And you're like, yeah, that's how it is. And now obviously we have to go into the alternate reality where what if they did this instead? What if they did class skins with Lost Codex?
Just
do it.
Steal.
Yeah.
Keyboard turns work.
Yeah, and that's it. Because like, I don't really want to turn around and say, well, just do this forehead. But there is a little bit of just do this forehead involved.
Yeah.
And if anyone turns around and says, but my PvP readability. And then you go, one, they don't care about PvP at all. Two, fuck up and learn to read it. Like, learn to see. Like, like League of Legends has skins that change shit all over the place, and no one cries about it. Just do it properly, easy. Besides, you don't fucking look at anything on your screen when you're playing PvP anyway. You look at weak ores that do it for you. No problem. No readability issue. Same with like when they talked about the readability issue for the Warlock pet, and you're like, what the fucking crack are you on? Live in reality. Get rid of it. Why can't you be a Sunwalker? Why can't you? Well, some of this stuff's a bit kind of, we need an idea, we'll kind of go for it. But like, just have stuff. Just make different pretty things. Just make things pretty. Just instead of your artists pumping out 20 bajillion fucking mounts every 6 seconds and selling them for $20 a piece, sell a class skin for $10 a piece, but make it half decent. Because fuck knows if we get class skins, those aren't going in game. I can tell you that for free. They're not going in game. Not a hope in hell. That's artist time that could go in money.
I forgot. The talents exist so that the artists can make money.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We're doomed.
Just print. Just turn the money printers on, please. Change the money printer setting to be class instead of mount. That's all we need to do. If Des made class skins, there'd be a batch of town criers yelling, "No, we want hero talents." Yeah, because that's what it means to be in a video games community now. Cry about everything at all times and never be happy. That's what it's boiled down to, realistically. And obviously I say that as someone who is has a weekly show in which I cry about things. So the irony is not lost on me. But there is certainly like there's going to be people complaining no matter what, basically. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't actually, turn around and go, well, how about you just be happy with it for it? Because there is a world in the middle where you're like, yeah, that could be slightly better, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So if anyone can speak from experience, exactly. I have had to go home on a Friday night for 3 years and think, am I just bitching about video games online? Is this what it's all about? And then just play video games and let the thoughts wash over me like bleach. Oh dear. Yeah. So there really wasn't too much of a war or a battle to death about this.
No.
It was just
as we said, Matt,
Tuskins.
framing.
Framing.
I mean, I think it is
You
a
can hang her frame and you can fucking hang me.
like currently I think we are at an unambiguous like yeah, stonks are definitely down in this feature.
Stonks are big down, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of tricky. But again, right? The hero talents are the thing that we know about. How much of that is actually just how much of that is just because it's the only thing we've really seen since BlizzCon is them sharing some more of things. From what I understand,
different story with Alpha drops.
yeah, from what I understand it, by the time of BlizzCon, delves were super early. Super early.
Oh,
Like there was
yeah.
a lot they were not able to talk about.
Yeah, we
And I
can
don't mean-
scream about them instead.
There we go. No, I don't mean in some way of like, we're banned, it was more like, we can't talk about that because we're still talking about it. We don't know what way we'll go.
No, you mean preemptive stonks down.
Sorry.
Delves are a failed feature.
Dead!
Already.
Dead! Is the war within dead? Dead already. Dead game.
The store within, it's over.
The
Yes.
store within.
Yeah.
Okay. Blizzard, I hope someone at Blizz just has the balls to do a blog post, like whenever they're announcing some new cosmetics, just to call it World of Warcraft the store within. Just that's the name of like the update post where they
The store within was a recent Asmon Gold Clips video.
Of course it was. Okay, fair. That's a pretty well executed title.